Very good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for Friday, the 11th of April, 2025. We'll start off here with the synoptic picture. This is starting on yesterday at midday. You can see we've got high pressure very much over the UK, two highs centred off the coast of Ireland here. We'll cycle that through, beginning at midnight last night, opening up, still a nice big high pressure, and moving on until midday today. So still today is going to be very much dominated by this high pressure system. Not much cloud, no frontal systems to affect, but if we look out over towards the Atlantic, you can see there's plenty on its way to us. Say midnight tonight, getting a little bit closer, still predominantly high pressure, slack winds. But by midday tomorrow, starting to get a little bit closer. And by midnight on Sunday, you can see we've got very much a low centre just off the southern tip of Iceland, and subsequent frontal systems, cold fronts and a couple of occluded fronts working their way over the UK. It's hopefully going to bring us some more unstable air, and potentially looking at this on Monday, we might have some quite nice soaring weather. Looking at the satellite picture, nothing to affect us in terms of cloud. It's going to be clear over the south of England all day. And nothing to affect us on the rain radar. It's going to remain nice and clear. We have a look at the Met Office rain forecast. So telling much the same picture, a couple of very, very light patches across the Irish Sea. If we run that through, you can see that there's nothing that's going to be a problem for us today. We can move on to the RF Odium TAF. They're suggesting 240 degrees at 4 knots, Cav OK, and there's a prob 30 of some haze and lower visibility earlier on this morning, and that should hopefully have cleared by now. And comparing that with the Farnborough TAF, they're saying variable at 3 knots, a little bit lighter in terms of the wind, no significant cloud, and becoming Cav OK by about 10 o'clock local. So with the TAFs, they're suggesting predominantly westerly winds. Looking at the 214 to give us the upper winds, we're seeing to the south and north of us is mainly easterly. So to the south, we've got 090 degrees at 15 knots, and to the north, it's between 010 and 030 at 5, so a little bit more northeasterly. I anticipate that we'll have westerly winds to begin with today, and potentially moving around to the east later on in the afternoon. Checking windy, that's just confirming a very light northwesterly or northwest-northwesterly flow here across Lasham. Therefore, we'll be beginning on runway 27 this morning. The local Met Office forecast confirms that we're getting northwesterly, and then between around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, becoming northeasterly, then southeasterly. Very, very light, 3 or 4 knots, gusting up to a maximum of 10. But we could potentially see a runway change as that persists for the rest of the day. So into the evening group may very well want to use 09 as well. Reasonable temperatures, maxing out at 19 degrees, and with the light winds, it should feel more or less like that. So quite a pleasant day to be out of the launch point. Reasonable visibility and quite high UV, so make sure we wrap up and use sunscreen. GFS more or less confirming that, saying slightly lower, 16, 17 degrees at 1 o'clock local, and the dew point around 8 degrees. Just refresh the webcam looking to the west, see nice clear skies, nothing to affect us, and a light northwesterly flow there indicated on the south side windsock. And the temperature now up to 12.1 degrees with a dew point of 7. This time yesterday it was about 4.5, 5 degrees, so I think we should very much feel that temperature increase today. Looking to SkySight now and the point forecast. Once again, nice clear skies, reasonable amount of surface heating, and some reasonable local thermals, 2.5 knots, 3 knots, up to potentially 3,500 feet above the airfield. And on the left here, you can see an excerpt from the potential flight distance indicating a degree of soarability, but not a huge amount. So I don't anticipate any major tasks today. Having a look at top meteo now for their thermal predictions. Starting off here at 9 o'clock local, moving through by 11 o'clock, starting to see thermals popping down in our area here, right between 600 and 700 meters, so a couple of thousand feet. And as we move through, it's actually moving up, seeing a maximum of about 1,100 meters. So more or less aligns with what SkySat was saying, about 3,500 feet. Blue very much all day, and beginning to peter off into the afternoon. And, the last thermal probably dying there about 6 o'clock. Just the two NOTAMs today, really in the local area. We've got 18, which is live firing at Barton Stacey, and 22, which is Delta 132 Ash Ranges. Move on now to the local airfield briefing. And we'll discuss the setup for today. Beginning as normal with the Odium cross-section. Not very much going on there at all. Very much agreeing with everything else that we've looked at. No significant cloud. Light winds, beginning westerly, then becoming variable and very, very light. Later on, around, they're suggesting 3, so a little bit later than some of the other forecasters, but around to the southeast at between 3 and 5 knots. Starting off with a bit of haze, poor visibility, and then that's very much improving into the mid-morning. A reasonable air temperature maxing out at 20, Odium they're saying today. A lot of bookings then. We have 2 K21s for the courses. There's 1 K21 booked for instruction today, and we have some single seat availability. There's K21 on the casual list and for club members, and we have 6 members on the casual list today, so if we get some instructors out to help, that'd be much appreciated. Simulator is unavailable this morning for some inspection, but should be back on this afternoon. And just a reminder that the front trim is unserviceable. One movement today, an A319 heading out at, scheduled anyway, for 2 o'clock local. And that might be a good opportunity for us to change runways if required, if we do get that wind swinging around to the east. In summary, we have high pressure over the UK, clear skies all day with light northwesterly winds to begin, potentially becoming easterly after midday. Going to be high UV, so please do make sure you use sunscreen. And we'll be runway 27 initially with cables on the grass to the south, they're turning off the north. And please be ready when the cable or tug arrives. As normal, please don't land on the disused runways shown here in red. And this will be your initial airfield setup today with the launch point vehicle over here at the aiming point and winching off the south, aerating from the north. We do require a runway change later on this afternoon. We'll switch to the also familiar setup on 09. Once again, winching off the south, aerating off the north, as we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. That's all I have for you today. So we'll see you out there. Have a nice day. Keep it safe and enjoy.